I only realised this morning that these Tiemco Sumari 90 deeps, I haven't done a review on them, and they've probably been the staple lure for the last 3 years for me. I've probably used it more than any other lure and caught more jacks on this thing than anything, and bass and trevally, but I haven't done a review on it. So before we get into it, I just want to show you a little bit of the action that's in the latest DVD, The Kayaker's Guide to the Gold Coast, and a little bit out of Monster Jacks. There's way too much to show you everything, but take a look at a little bit of the damage this thing's done in the last couple of seasons. See you, buddy. Yes! Oh! Yeah, it's a good fish. Oh, there's that red colour that you wait for all season. Oh, he's a big one. Oh, yep, straight off the surface. Wasn't even ready. Just picking out a little loop on my spool, and that's what he grabbed. Oh yeah, good fish. Oh, it's killing me. It's a big one. Yep. Oh, it's a beauty. He's got mates with it. He's got mates with it. He's grabbing it out of his mouth, bro. Get down there, eh? Oh, he's a cracker. He's still trying to grab it out of his mouth. Oh, just using the tide. That little brush pile down there. I don't mind. You can keep dragging it down there and try and grab his brother. Oh, that brush pile down there. I just drifted the Sumari down onto it, and it just got under the surface of it, and he came out and absolutely walloped it. Thanks, Ben. Oh, mate, that's one of the better ones for the trip. Get in. What a weekend this is, eh? What a great weekend. List of reasons why this thing is just so dominant for me, and the way that I like to use it, I just want to show you what it's all about. You can see that little profile. It's a lot like a little baby whiting, and then it's got that deep diving bib, but it's still very slender, and it gives it that really tight cadence and very repeatable action that means that you can fish this really aggressive. You might notice that I've already upgraded the trebles on this. For salt water, you want like a 4 times strong. This is a BKK treble, and on the back I've got a 2 times strong owner treble, and that gives it a perfect horizontal suspension in salt water. You might, if you're fishing this in fresh, you might want to just lighten that up a little bit, because it'll sink like that in fresh water. But that's what you're looking for, a perfect suspension. The bass, the trevally, the mangrove jack and the barra, they love that stall. And that's how I usually fish it. Yes! Oh, it's a good fish! Oh. If I'm fishing sloping banks, like slower sloping banks, I just want to show you how I like to use it. When I cast it out there, I'll generally start with a little rip, and it just goes little rip like that and then a stall. And that just gives it that action of coming off a bank and then stalling. And it's very natural, like a little mullet or a whiting would do. So once I get out of that, the first meter or so, the next thing I'll do is just start to get very twitchy with it. And that's the same style of retrieve that I'll use around heavy cover or deep rock bars. So on a deep bank, I'll I'll get it as close into the cover as I can, and the weight transfer system in it with the little balls that shoot to the back of the lure allow you to cast really accurate with these things. That's one of the big features of these lures, and probably the reason why they're more expensive than sort of the cheaper end lures. The quality is in the design features. So once you get it out there, I'll just start to work really aggressive, little twitches, and that'll just throw it into a really tight swimming action with a stall. And that stall is usually when the barra and the big mangrove jack will come and grab it. So getting that aggressive style of retrieve, it's really important that you have a really heavy sort of a setup to get the most out of the lure action. So you can see I use a 5'6" heavy action. This is an 8 to 10 kilo bait casting rod. It's a Strudwick's hard bods, which I think aren't in production anymore, but that's the kind of rod that you want, so that that heavy action transfers right to the bib of the lure and allows it to get all of that action that you're imparting with your wrist when you're really pulling down on the lure. And it'll swim straight up for you. It's not like some of the other cheaper lures that'll take a while to really get into their cadence. This thing is a stop-start lure and just works perfectly as a jerk bait. So that's how I'll use it. I'll cast it out there, and it casts very true even in windy conditions because of that slender profile, and again those heavy balls in there, and they give it a deep rattle too. And then it's just whip, and you're just stabbing at it. And a shorter bait casting rod means that you can pull down like that. If you've got a longer, like a 6.5 or something like that bait casting rod, you're sort of pulling side to side or up. It's not going to allow your lure to get as deep. So that's why 5'6" rod, and it's got a little extra butt here for really putting hurt on fish to get them out. So that's a Tiemco Sumari. It's already been beaten up a little bit, but this is one of the best ones I got. The ones in my box are just a joke. They get hook rash pretty bad, but it doesn't really matter because the action on these Sumaris is just to die for. Probably one of the best lures, if not the best, that I've got for mangrove jack and barra in my box. So they're a little bit hard to find. I think EJ Todd have just brought a few more of them into the country, but this is the packet that you're looking for. And this colour, one of my favourites, with the golds or that silver with the pink underbelly, they're my favourites. But God, they're hard to find. I went to the Ukraine. I sent away to the Ukraine to get these ones. And they only had 2 in their country as well. So they're pretty hard to find. If you can get your hands on one, make sure you get one and give them a go.
Oh,
yeah, I'm on. Oh, yeah, I'm on.
oh, big fish.
Oh.
Oh my God, what was that?
Look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him, look at him. Look. Yeah, got him. Oh, they're everywhere, bro. Oh, that's so much fun.